Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're in Vietnam. We've been in Vietnam for a while, and now we're on a ferry to Con Dao, which is an island which is about 4 hours off the coast by ferry from the mainland.
It's very windy!
We've been in Vietnam for about a month or so, and I've been cycling down the coast. It's been very challenging, and I'm really run down. So it's good to relax on the ferry.
Bare feet on white sand, morning light on my skin.
Welcome! I have taken a car transfer from the ferry terminal. This was like a really flash car, and the guys that are like promoting themselves. So it's probably at the upper end of the price bracket, which was 200,000 dong. And I'm just waiting for Charles, who has ridden his bicycle from the ferry. On the map, you'll see that there's a ferry port in the main town, but the ferry that we took actually arrives at a port to the west. So that's something to plan for. Make sure you have cash on you. I couldn't see any bus options. Like a bright yellow bus turns up when you get off the ferry and you think, oh, okay, great, this is a transfer to the main town, but it just transfers you to the car park and then you have to figure it out from there, which is fine. It's just good to know in advance so that you've got cash on you.
Been sang calling the fat man again. Palm trees swaying low, keeping time with the sea. Every step slower, letting.
Okay, I have some interesting information about the ferry that comes over. When you look online, it'll say they don't take bicycles, but they do, no problems at all. But it costs 250,000, Viet Dong, and they just take it off you at the beginning and give it back to you at the end. So it's sort of like a roll-on, roll-off for bicycles, but they do the rolling on and they do the rolling off. So don't get excited, just wait at the wall. When we docked, what they do is there's an archipelago of islands here. So the main island has all the people living on it, but the islands make a channel that seems like an all-weather port. For waves to disrupt it, they have to be coming in a very specific way. So it's about 12 kilometres away from the actual main settlement. So when you get off, you just ride here. Now there's a bit of traffic because obviously the ferry drops off a couple of hundred people, so there's quite a bit of traffic. But the road is beautiful tarmac, and it's a rolling hill to come here, and it's a beautiful ride because you're just looking at the water and everything like that. You get a choice depending on which way the wind goes. So if you go the other way, it's 12 kilometres as well. So I just rode with the wind until you turn the corner, and then you're sort of sheltered from the wind anyway. But either way, there's a hill, and either way, it's 12 kilometres. So you can't really lose. And the one thing I'd say is, when you get into the main settlement, it's so quiet on the streets compared to the mainland. It's a pleasure to ride here compared to the mainland.
No hurry, no time, no place to be. Just the sky and the water watching.
There's fantastic food on this island. The island has a full grocery store and we're just getting some supplies.
Okay, with the rooms, when you get here, they, we're already paying quite a bit for the area, but when you get here, they want you to pay cash. And if you don't pay cash, they charge extra on top for the card. Plus, they've restricted how many cards can get used here, so you can't use a Wise card as well. So we ended up paying with card, but it made it about 10% dearer than we thought it was going to be. This is why we picked this hotel, because it's got a gym, which I never went to, but PJ did. Beautiful view from up on the top floor. Next time we'd stay closer to the beach. There's lots of cheap hotels on this island, but you're completely surrounded by mountains and the water. Every second day I would ride around the island, and there's about 28 kilometres of really good road to ride on. This island used to be a prison for the French, and then the Americans took it over, and it's got a terrible history. There's a lot of French architecture from when the French used to have it, especially along the waterfront.
and near the prisons, the old prisons. The island is like manicured. It's just manicured everywhere. You don't see any rubbish. You don't see anything that's overgrown. The beaches are perfect, and there's absolutely no rubbish in the water or anything like that. And they're all very, very clean.
And the dogs are friendly. And the food is amazing.
Vietnam is an amazing place. It's got amazing cuisine, and all of it's on this island. And look, I was really run down from the ride down the coast. Cycling in Vietnam is challenging, and the noise and the busyness and everything. This island is just the opposite. It's got all the good stuff and none of the bad.
So this is the army base on the island, and obviously they have a message that goes past in Vietnamese and also in English. Yesterday there was a script up there talking about being successful in fulfilling their year-long goals and getting everything done. And today they're congratulating themselves on finishing the recruit training base course.
This is some of the French architecture, and there's a lot of French cuisine still on the island as well. There's not a lot of restaurants on the island, but there's well over 100, and they're just all fantastic. The food was just amazing wherever we went. And while a little bit more expensive than the mainland, not more than 5% more, and you know, the markets are just beautiful, and the variety of food that you can get is amazing.
We just stepped out of like a 5-star restaurant, straight into like the wet market, and you know, all the hubbub of Asia. You know, we're in this beautiful, refined sort of dining experience, and then you step outside and it's just vibrant again, and eclectic, and all the lights and everything. It's quite the contrast, but it was lovely, you know. So that's one of the good things about Asia. I think this island is the perfect, you know, Asian experience. So it's like Asia, very small, you know, like everything's here, but it's not busy. It's walkable. It's quiet. Like this is rush hour right now, and it's not very busy. You know, like.
Yeah, watch out for the bike.
Yeah, so this is like rush hour now, and it's not very busy, but it's lovely. Like it's really lovely. It's cool. It rained almost all day today, so it's just beautiful. So anyway, I'm really enjoying here.
It's cool. Do you want to show them the rest of the thing?
I think what you should see is how clean everything is. Like this island is spotless. I mean, and I say that it's European spotless.
Even the lawn is perfect.
Yeah, even the lawn's perfect. They're always doing maintenance. You know, at the moment they're over there trimming trees, but there's always something going on. This is a very pleasant surprise compared to the rest of Vietnam. Clean, quiet. This is the middle of the day. It's like rush hour. It's lovely. We're at the museum, which is right on the waterfront, so there's a beautiful view. I'm facing a beautiful view, and the tickets to go to the museum are 50,000, which is about the square root of nothing, and also gets you entry into all the other places as well. So I think it gets you entry into 40 different other places, which we'll probably go to one other place after this, which will be the main museum, the main prison.
Here is the map of all of the fantastic attractions they have on offer here.
We went to this museum and we weren't really sure what we were going to expect, but it was really sad, and PJ cried a lot. And after we went to the museum, we're planning to go to some of the prisons. So the ticket, you know, lets you go to the prisons and you can go see the tiger cages and all that sort of stuff. But it was too distressing for PJ and me, so we never went to the prisons afterwards. was kind of like when I went to the concentration camps in Europe. You know, I'm glad I went, but I never wanted to go back again. It's amazing because it's so beautiful where it is, and then it's got such a painful history, backstory, you know, of being the place that they'd send the worst of the worst, what they would call criminals, to the island, but really they're just freedom fighters. It was a kind of weird, you know, there was, some of the things were a bit weird on the island, but it was so pretty. And look, if I went back to Vietnam, I would definitely come here, and I don't know if I'd go anywhere else. Like, this is just better than the rest of it, as far as I can see. And you can go out to all the other islands. There's lots of little cruise ships. When we went back, we caught the ferry, not back to the mainland, we caught the ferry all the way back to Ho Chi Minh City. So it's about 6 hours, and it's a pink ferry, and it's just as good as the one that came there. We always bought the cheaper ticket, so there's tickets upwards, but it was really good.